Tonight, major updates across Disney parks for Q1, including leadership changes at Disney Experiences and construction progress at Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Disneyland Resort. Stay right here for a complete rundown of what's happening across the parks.
Plus, permits, marquee signs, and reimagined attractions from Buzz Lightyear and Rock and Roller Coaster to Tropical Americas, Monstropolis, and more. We've also got a very special guest joining us to share insights on some of these projects.
And later, we'll explore the rumors making waves this quarter, including Shanghai Disneyland's possible second gate and whispers about the long-awaited Villains Land.
This is the State of the Kingdom Address. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the State of the Kingdom. It's Q1 of 2026, and if you've stepped foot in a Disney park lately, you've probably noticed one consistent theme: transformation. I'm Kaity, joined by Stephen and Jenny. Hi, my fellow idiots.
Hello.
Hi.
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
Oh, missed you guys.
Well, I think it's safe to say that Wall Disney World is alive and strong.
Accurate. Oh,
Yep.
honey, Marissa's
Yep.
not here, but you brought it tonight.
That's right.
That is true. Everywhere you look, a wall is up with something major happening behind it.
And that's really what this quarter is about. We're in a transition period. So some experiences are permanently closing, others are down for major overhauls, and behind those construction walls, entire new lands are taking shape. So as always, we're organizing today's episode into 3 very clear sections. First, announcements. These are official updates, confirmed timelines, reopening dates, attraction changes, and anything Disney has formally put on the record. Second, construction updates. What's physically happening in the parks right now? What's been demolished? What's rising? And what's visibly progressing as we head deeper into 2026? And third, rumors. The whispers, the permits, the eyebrow-raising hints. The things that are not confirmed, but are gaining enough traction that we need to talk about them.
And later in the show, we're bringing in special guest correspondent Drew the Disney Dude to weigh in on one of the most talked about upcoming additions and what it signals for the future of the parks.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I can't wait for that. All right, Section 1, announcements.
Give it to us.
It had been a pretty quiet quarter for parks announcements so far this year, but we did get some pretty big news on the leadership side of things, especially after Josh D'Amaro's announcement as CEO. So last week, Tom Maslum, the current president of Disneyland Resort, has been promoted to chairman of Disney Experiences, stepping into the role previously held by Josh. Now, several additional appointments were announced alongside the promotion, including Jill Estorino becoming president of Disneyland Resort, where she will oversee operations and guest experience in California, and Tasia Filipados taking over as president of Disney Parks International, leading the company's global park portfolio. Also, Lisa Baldzicki has also been promoted to president of Disney Consumer Products, overseeing global merchandise and licensing business. So together, these changes signal a new leadership structure for the parks and experiences division as Disney continues expanding its global footprint.
This was crazy
a
news,
lot
the
of
amount of names
changes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
in a very short time. But I'm excited. It's a new,
Yeah.
new chapter, a new era.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where things will go under Josh. I think it's like, obviously he's been around for so long, but like he is a
Mhm.
very Disney fellow. I feel excited to see where he could possibly take things and how creative they'll get with it. I feel like he does get it. Obviously there's budgets and things like that, but I feel like he gets it. And I'm excited to see the people that work under him and what they're able to bring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over to Paris. Paris?
Mm.
Paris.
Hi.
Back in the parks, guests at Regal View Restaurant, the first character dining experience at Disney Adventure World, which is hard for me to remember to say, will be able to meet 4 Disney princesses, Aurora, Ariel, Mulan, and Belle, and they're going to be in a very detailed casual villager outfits. So Disneyland Paris shared a first look at the princesses during the press preview of the park's expansion. The venue will open alongside World of Frozen on March 29th, 2026, and the same day Walt Disney Studio Park, Disney World on the brain, is officially renamed Disney Adventure World. So guests can plan their visit through partners like Be Our Guest Vacations to experience new immersive dining
that's cool.
experience.
The costume choices they chose for these princesses is incredible because I
Yes.
feel like you
Yes.
can't meet them in these costumes
Yes.
as
Aurora's
often.
Briar
So
Rose
back.
dress.
yeah,
Oh, my favorite.
yes, exactly. hmm Mulan's like villager, it's really cute because I've never seen
Oh,
her in
yeah.
that anywhere else. So
Well, they did it.
hmm
They got an experience that made us super jealous and want to go back over there.
that's right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
finally,
ready.
true.
Paris, you're getting your
hmm
time. I can't
That's
wait.
right.
All right, and jumping back stateside and over to Hollywood studios, Disney has officially revealed the full list of character meet and greets coming to Off the Page in the Magic of Disney Animation. Guests will encounter Mulan in story, Rapunzel in layout, Chip and Dale in hand-drawn animation, Donald and Daisy in CG animation, Goofy in lighting, and Stitch in effects. Disney notes that additional characters may rotate throughout the spaces.
Mulan is really getting her flowers
She's
here.
getting some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about time.
It's about time.
She's got a busy schedule
But
now.
yeah, I find it interesting that Donald and Daisy were the choice for CG animation and they didn't choose a CG animated like
Yeah.
famously known character like Frozen or Moana or something along those lines.
Right.
But hey,
I mean, the people want Donald and Daisy in any
that's
sort of
true.
They do.
animation, any
They're
type
gonna
of it.
they're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Mhm.
Well, also announced Olaf Draws, a new animation academy where Olaf, voiced by Josh Gad, will guide guests of all ages learning how to draw alongside pre recorded tips from Disney animation artists. And the magic of Disney animation returns to Animation Courtyard in late summer 2026. So we will circle back to this when we get to the construction portion later in the show.
I'm so happy that's happening, and I can't wait.
I
And
am
I just
too.
want more
Yeah.
official updates, more details. I just want to be there already.
We've
Yeah.
said this before, but I mean, this was a major step, like a leap in the right direction for that
Yeah,
park. And I'm so
100%.
glad they
Mhm.
didn't switch this to some immersive experience. It is what it should be, and it really makes me happy to see that they're going kind of a nostalgic route here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I have seen some I don't know, not everyone seems super happy with Olaf. A lot of people liked the
Agreed.
live
hmm
animator. So what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I see where they're going with it. I mean, I think it's Olaf draws a crowd, literally draws.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yes.
And I think it's easier from an operational standpoint to just kind of probably crank these shows out, and it's probably going to have
Mhm.
a really high demand when this reopens. So it makes sense to me. I do see the drawback of not employing
And
talented artists,
right.
especially as Disney's gone through years of changing the way they do their animation, and this is an opportunity for those types of individuals who have that gift to shine. But I see both sides of it.
Mhm.
I'm optimistic about it,
Yeah, me
but
too.
and I love Olaf. He's fun.
I
So
know.
and hold on, we're getting a word from Future Steven breaking into the podcast. Future Steven, what do you have for us? Thanks, Steven, from yesterday. Of course, less than 11 hours after we recorded this episode, Disney dropped a wave of major announcements for Walt Disney World, including updates to several things we are about to discuss on this episode. So here's a quick lightning round of what we know now. First, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin officially opens April 8th, confirming the refreshed ride vehicles, handheld blasters, interactive targets, and a new support robot buddy we'll talk about in a minute. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the new Walt Disney Studios Courtyard will open May 26th alongside the new stage show Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Club Live. Meanwhile, at Epcot, Soarin' Across America will return beginning May 26th as part of the lead-up to America's 250th anniversary. Disney also confirmed that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is now expected to open in early May, wrapping up its major refurbishment. We'll talk more about that in a minute too. And finally, Disney announced the summer event Cool Kids Summer will be returning May 26th through September 8th, which will bring additional entertainment across the parks, including a Bluey and Bingo meet and greet at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So yes, everything we recorded last night is slightly outdated already. Classic Disney timing, waiting until the very next day to announce everything. Honestly, I think they know, but back to you guys in the studio. Well, thank you, Stephen from the future. We appreciate the update and the emotional damage this has clearly caused you in the edit. So it seems like there actually have been a few more announcements than we thought, but let's switch over to construction. And when it comes to construction, they are churning and burning, baby.
Whoa.
Let's
butter.
let's start with Magic Kingdom. Katie, what do you got there?
All right, well, let's talk about one of my favorite mountains, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. An amended construction permit has been filed for the refurbishment of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom, extending the project timeline through August 31st, 2026. The extension provides additional coverage as final work continues. On-site construction appears to be wrapping up, though, with crews recently finishing pavement work near the entrance while scaffolding remains in place as the last details. Testing has also been happening intermittently, signaling the attraction is moving even closer to reopening. I'm excited
for this
I am
one.
very excited
I'm
for
missing
this.
it.
I miss it. I miss it so much. I have a craving for it.
Yeah. And Disney has added some special surprises to Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin as part of its major update at Magic Kingdom. The refurbishment, which began in August 2025, includes all new ride vehicles, handheld blasters, updated interactive targets, revamped scoring displays, and a reworked opening sequence, introducing a new support robot named Buddy. Imagineers have also teased Easter eggs and refreshed queue elements, encouraging guests to keep a sharp eye out for hidden secrets and possible references to Toy Story 5. Construction walls remain around the entrance as crews finish the marquee and new concrete flooring, while the updated signage, a Space Mountain-inspired white spire, appears nearly complete, with only the ride's name yet to be added. The attraction is expected to reopen, offering a refreshed, plussed-up take on this classic Tomorrowland favorite.
Yes, plussing up. We love a plus up.
Yeah. This one's
You
near
ready,
and dear to
Jenny?
your
This
heart,
one,
Jenny.
I don't know. I actually am really excited. I think as long as I can still be a galactic hero,
Yep.
I'll be okay
Can
with
be.
it. But I definitely, well, again, this one, I think just be working there, and I have so many memories working at Merge Point, at Load, there's definitely, anytime I go visit, I always get these memories kind of flooding back to me. But I'm excited.
Oh.
I think this one's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
What if they unveiled the new support robot that's named Buddy? Isn't Buddy the one that was missing from Epcot?
No, that was Buzzy.
Oh, I was like, what if they brought him back?
Different
They
consonant.
found him.
Oh
all
my
right, never
goodness.
mind,
Different.
Buzzy.
No. They've
Missed
shown
opportunity.
Buddy in a very static form, but I think he will be moving more than
Oh.
they've shown. But he
Okay.
looks or she. It might be a she.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it might be a she.
Hmm.
Well, the repainting of Cinderella Castle is nearly complete, with
She
the
looks so
last visible
pretty.
pink sections now gone and the new color scheme applied across almost the entire structure. After several weeks of work, only a few small areas of trim remain before the project wraps up. So the castle now appears close to its final look, but while the moat is still drained and lift equipment remain in place, the crews are finishing up the last details. And it
She
looks
looks
beautiful.
It looks
pretty.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
We've missed
love
her.
it. Like, I
Don't call
don't
it a
know.
comeback.
I don't know if it's
But
just
it
the
is.
fresh paint. I don't know. She glistens. She shines. This is her moment. We have missed this version of her,
Mhm.
and she's here.
She looks, she doesn't even look real. I forget. I sent
No.
pictures of it in our group chat.
Right.
I think it may have been Amanda was like, it didn't even look like a real photo when you sent it.
Right.
Yeah.
She's
Beautiful.
She's transcending reality
That's
and creating real
Mm.
magic.
such
Yeah.
a simple. Well, it's not simple. I'm sure that was very expensive and difficult logistics wise, but what an upgrade! Just the paint color just made it feel
Yeah.
so much
Mhm.
more nostalgic, but so beautiful and welcoming. And I am ready to go to the Magic Kingdom. Let's go.
Yep. Let's go do some photos.
hmm Well, I'm going to move on over to Animal Kingdom for a bit because I want to talk about Tropical Americas and I want to talk about the Encanto attraction. Imagineering has filed a new permit for the upcoming Encanto attraction at Disney's Animal Kingdom, marking a major step forward for the project.
And it looks like we've got a very special guest dropping in to talk more about this project. I am talking about none other than Drew, the Disney Dude, a true Disney Parks news expert. Drew, take it away. What is the latest?
Yeah, Tropical Americas is just a project that, in my opinion, I feel like is getting very overlooked. I feel like this project's two words I keep coming back to are instant classic. I
Hmm.
feel like this land as a whole, yes, a lot of it is just a reimagined Dino Land, but in many ways, it's going to feel brand new from the environment, the atmosphere, the energy. Like, at least for me personally, I know I can't speak for anybody else, but I've always thought that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is just a dead land. Like, yes, there are objectively beautiful things about it. Like I can appreciate the artistry and the rock work and the effort that went into it, but never once in my life have I felt like wanting to spend time in Galaxy's Edge besides just going on Rise of the Resistance. But
Hmm.
I feel like when I look at Tropical Americas, I'm like, this is an area that even if I don't go on Encanto or Indiana Jones or the Carousel, or if I'm not meeting a character or getting food, I could just sit back, relax, watch people, listen to the
Mhm.
music, watch the fountain, and even something like Casita. This is another detail that's gone under the radar. The Casita is going to be alive. Like the shingles on the roof are going to be moving, the door is going to be opening and closing, the candles going to be flickering. Like it's going to feel alive, just like in the movie. So these little things that I think just make lands feel like a space that you want to spend time in. And then looking at the actual, attractions, like Encanto is going to be a modern classic dark ride. We really haven't had anything like that at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And I mean, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, yes, in a sense, but there's a lot of digital elements. It's my
Hmm.
favorite
Mhm.
ride. Don't get me wrong. Right over here next to me, I have a wooden Runaway Railway carving. I
Oh,
I
That's
love
Katie's
Runaway
favorite
Railway.
my
too. So you're in good
favorite.
Yes.
company.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, no, I adore Runaway Railway. I love the
Yes.
team that created that ride, but I don't necessarily view it as a modern classic just because it's very digital heavy. But again, if it's the story there, I understand why they did it. It's not shot at Runaway Railway. It's just when I think about Encanto, it's going to be much more practical and physical. And even if they're not, like the biggest groundbreaking animatronic, I don't think we necessarily need that. Like,
Mhm.
I'd much rather have an
Hmm.
animatronic that looks accurate and actually works. That's
Yes. Yes, please.
Hmm.
unfortunately, we've seen some issues at Tiana's, which I don't
Yep.
think we'll have in Encanto because you don't have the moisture and the humidity and all that
Hmm.
Florida weather
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas Encanto's from being built from the ground up, it's indoors, it's all air conditioned, but it's
Mhm.
just these rides are going to be incredible. The music of Encanto. I listen to Encanto soundtrack just about every day. Like
It's
I
good.
love that music. I love that
Yeah.
movie. I love those characters and knowing they're all going to be there physically with the original voice cast coming back to voice them. Jared Bush wrote the script. Like that's a home run right there. And then Indiana Jones, like, come on, Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland. It's a diehard classic. Everyone loves it. And another fact that I love is that Bruce Vaughan, the president and chief creative officer of Walt Disney Imagineering, first thing he ever worked on at Imagineering when he knew nothing about the parks or the company was Indy at Disneyland. And look at how it turned out. So I imagine that all these years later, he's going to want to put a little bit of extra love into this attraction because he has a special place for it. So I just think when I look at everything about this project, from the research to the project team to what we're getting, I feel like it's going to deliver and shock people. So anytime I can talk about Tropical Americas, I will. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to ramble about it for a few
Yes,
minutes.
we
No,
love it.
and I completely agree, and I'm really resonating with what you're saying about spending time in the space because I think a lot of people forget at the end of the day these are parks, and
Yep.
Mhm.
a park isn't something to check a list off of. It's something to sit and appreciate. And you wrote a Substack article
Yep.
recently and talked about seeing this area at night. And I think
Yeah.
like we
Mm.
haven't even really thought about that, like what they're going to be able to do. And I think Disney at night is a whole different experience than it is during the day. And so I'm just really excited to see where this goes. And as excited as you are about this, we are too, because every season, we're on our fourth season now. And every season we try to pick something really big for our premiere. And this year we picked Tropical Americas because we thought that's the thing that we're so excited about. It's so lively, it's so colorful. It's going to be this thing. And you're right, people are kind of overlooking uh,
Yep.
right now. And so I'm glad that you feel the same passion that we do about it.
It's overwhelming passion. I think about, like I mentioned in my Substack article, I think about Encanto literally every single day. Like it's almost
Yeah.
unhealthy how much I think about that
Yeah.
ride. Like sometimes I'll
Mhm.
just be like laying in bed and I'll think like, what could that scene look like? Or how
Mhm.
Yeah.
could they
Oh, it's
transform
gonna be
this
so
into a
good.
30-second reset between each ride vehicle? Like not only does it have to work from a story perspective, but then the actual operational perspective to get people through the ride. And all these things fascinate my little brain every single day. But I'm ready. I know it's next year, so I'm just sometimes people are like, "Well, that's just the next thing that's opening, so that's why you're excited about it." I'm like, "No, if Villains Lane was the next thing, yeah, I'd be excited for it, but I'd still be more excited for Tropical Americas." That's just my
Yeah.
Mhm.
opinion.
I
Do
think
you
it's
feel like
also
you Oh, go ahead,
oh,
Katie.
I was going to say, I think it's also interesting you mention, and you talk about in the article as well, like the concept art, how beautiful it is. And I think that's like one of
Hmm.
the first things we commented on when we saw it was like, it just looks like it's like I would want to spend all
Yeah.
day in there. And the
Yep.
carousel, that artwork is the thing that sticks out in
Mhm.
my mind the most, like that perfect dusk setting. And I'm just thinking, oh, I cannot wait to just sit there all day with a drink in my hand and just watch people all
Yep.
night.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to be. It's so funny that you mentioned that, though.
Fully
I'm
agreed.
excited. Sorry, Stephen,
As
I cut
a
you off.
Oh, no, you're good. I'm just thinking as an insider like you are, do you have any speculation on what type of ride system you think they're gonna have for Casita?
Well, I will say I don't want to come across as an insider. I just like to call myself a content creator.
Sure,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
yeah.
there are two words that I don't like to refer myself as, and that's influencer and
Mhm.
insider or like exclusive. I love the parks. I just love talking about them. Like, and again, another reason why I'm actually so I'll talk about this really quickly is that a big part of why I'm so excited about Tropical Americas is because Chris Beatty, one of the lead Imagineers that kind of worked on the vision for it, was the lead on New Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
and whenever I was kind of, I think I was in like, I don't remember exactly. I think it was in like sixth grade, like middle school. And that's kind of when Seven Dwarfs Mine Train was like the big thing. Like that was the
Mhm.
only project.
Mhm.
So as I was getting old enough to kind of realize what was going into these attractions, like they don't just spawn in like you're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is like years worth of visioning just to get one
Mhm.
ride open.
Sure.
And that's where I was kind of starting to mature and understand what was making these things a reality. And Seven Dwarfs Mine Train kind of kickstarted this. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now without Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So now I've kind
Aw.
of gotten to know Chris, which is very cool. But he's again a part of this project, and I feel like a lot of his same DNA and how he thinks as an Imagineer um, is behind that. So yeah, I'm just Drew. Like I'm not. If you're gonna call me anything, just call me the Disney dude. I'm okay with that.
That's who
But
you are.
Yes.
what I will say about Encanto is that if I were to take a guess right now about what the ride system's going to be, I know this isn't an original thought by any means. I know Jack at DSOI Newscast has mentioned it, and I think Len Testa on Touring Planes and people on the WW Magic forums. But again, my personal expectation is like a modern version of Figment,
Mm.
kind of
Mm.
like the next generation Omnimover, to where somehow they're going to make it to where the furniture has come alive. Because like if you're looking down the
Right.
track the entire time, then the story is dead immediately. So
Right.
maybe they're going to take some form of projection mapping like you see over Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast in Tokyo Disneyland. Combine that with a modern Omni mover to where you have like two sets of vehicles per scene. So maybe you have like two sets of furniture, 4 people per row. Maybe it's like 16 people per scene. It's more intimate that way as well too. As much as I love Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, from what I've seen, I feel like it suffers from the amount of ride vehicles and teacups that you have
Mm.
per scene. I feel like Encanto's going to be the exact opposite and thrive from its intimacy of feels like the characters are really inviting you into their house. And I feel like if you keep it to two vehicles that way, that's the best thing to do, to where it also gets you through each scene quicker that way. So I think that there's a healthy balance we're going to get there. But I'm kind of shocked they haven't revealed that yet. But I think that'll be a maquette we'll see at D23 on the show floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hadn't thought of it like that before. It's like an Omni Mover ride for that. And also
Hmm.
being in a house, it is supposed to be more intimate. They're
Yeah.
inviting you and your
Yep.
family. You're getting to learn about them. So that's actually would be a really smart approach to do it that way. So it doesn't feel so big and open and you're seeing all the cars coming
Mhm.
through and everything.
Yep.
hmm I hope
Yeah.
they
Like I
do.
said, I think about this ride every day, and I'm like, oh,
Oh.
if I'm gonna have Mirabelle talking
Mhm.
to me, well, I need to be able to feel like I'm actually hearing from Mirabelle
Right.
and not that I'm
Mhm.
have 7 sets of ride vehicles in front of me where it's just an
Right.
Yeah.
operational, thing. And part of me also thinks too is that kind of having something that I think people kind of don't understand about Bruce Vaughn's role at Imagineering as president and chief creative officer is that the whole point of his job is to guide these projects in the right direction. And if that's his vision for this project or they were already going on the right track, well, then you just encourage them to continue going down that path.
Yeah.
I think he's more spending his time with the younger talent that kind of needs to get that expertise and wisdom that they don't have yet. Whereas the Tropical Americas team, Joan Hartwig, the executive creative director, she worked with Joe Rodi on Pandora. She's already added Lance the Animal Kingdom. She's been at Imagineering for
Mm.
36 years. I
Wow.
don't think Joan Hartwig needs that much from Bruce Vaughn. Yeah, sure, you can kind of bounce ideas off of each
Yeah.
other,
True.
but this woman's a
Mhm.
very strong leader and she's worked
Yeah.
on Animal Kingdom before. Let her run with it. Let her like as much as I love Joe Rodi, why not let someone else do something? Like
Mhm.
this is her first big shot to lead a major project.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm excited about. We actually have new talent here and I think they're gonna shock the world.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think this
Mhm.
is a huge, huge win for Animal Kingdom. and I'm very excited to see where it
Mhm.
goes. We'll stay in touch with you as things come alive and check in to see how you're feeling.
Yes, and another
Mhm.
last thing I'll say about Tropical Americas is you mentioned the concept art, I mentioned the concept art, and I know someone watching or listening is thinking this. Well, Disney concept art sometimes doesn't deliver, but
Mhm.
this is something that I probably should do a YouTube video about just on its own, but not all concept art is created equal. For example, when Villains Land was announced at D23 in 2024, that was a kind of this is the direction we're heading. This is
Mhm.
the scale and scope we're heading. Not it's not going to look like this. Like everyone's like, well, Villains Land is going to have this giant Maleficent dragon and this like twisting, bending roller coaster. It's like that's in the concept art, but that's just saying the scale that they're headed towards. Not necessarily that that's the final vision. That was
Mhm.
very early on in the product. Whereas, on the other hand, when Tropical Americas was announced officially, because you know the whole like blue sky stuff, all that's another conversation. But whenever Tropical Americas got confirmed finally at D23 in 2024, the plans were locked. So that concept art was created based off of final plans. So every single piece of Tropical America's concept art you look at right now, whether it's a show scene or not necessarily the show scenes, that's more of like an artistic vision. Like the Encanto show scene is literally just them from a scene in the movie slapped onto
Mhm.
an artistic style. So not necessarily the show scenes, but like the casita or the indie temple or the hacienda or the carousel or the entrance, like that stuff has been final for almost 2 years now. So that's going to be nearly 1-to-1. So I just hope that people realize that this concept art is accurate, whereas something like Villains Land is very much just like, we need to show you something. We don't
Yeah.
have anything. Have fun taking a peek at this until we share something more down the road.
Yeah, it's good to put it in perspective like
Yes.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a concept, not,
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's in
Yes.
the word. So
Yep.
Not a live rendering.
You should do a video on that though, because I would be so interested in that. I love concept
I
art
need
in
to.
general. I think it creates the mood and creates the excitement.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that would be a really cool video.
Yeah, I always have to like bite my tongue when I see someone saying, "Well, it doesn't match the
Yeah.
concept art."
Uh,
It's like, yeah,
yeah.
of course it doesn't, because they're
Right.
just trying to tell you that they're building this area and that
Mhm.
they're working on it. It takes years to lock these
Yep.
plans in. I'm sure
Oh.
Josh was like, "Well, if I'm going to announce Villains Land at the end with this plot twist where the magic mirror is talking to me, I need a piece of concept art." So
Right.
he goes to Greg Pro, who's an absolute wizard with concept art, and says, "Greg, you have 8 weeks. Make up something fun." And then sometimes I also think that the concept artist of the concept art inspires the Imagineers to then take their ideas and run with it. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
think you're
the whole
right.
Mhm.
blue
Mhm.
sky and concept art is actually a good thing. But again, if I said that on Twitter, I'd get attacked. So sometimes I don't talk
That's a
about
talent that I wish I had, because if we
it.
had a concept artist on this show
Oh
to
my
come
gosh.
to draw
Yeah.
something up and create something out of all of our ideas, we'd be unstoppable. But
Hey, future goal, future
Yeah.
goal.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. If anybody's
Season
listening
5.
and has this gift, reach out to me. I'll pay you in a gift card or something. Um,
Hey, we don't have that. Hugs. We'll pay you in hugs.
that's right. We don't. Any other thoughts on Tropical Americas, Drew?
Yeah, I guess I would just say check out my Substack article,
Yes.
drewthedisneydude.substack.com. I literally spent like 8 hours working on that article. I'd go back to like a paragraph and add another sentence or try to add like my own take on it to where it's not just like reporting it objectively, but really like if I'm going to say I'm excited for this project, I'm not just going to say that and then regurgitate what Disney has said.
Yeah.
I'm going to add my analysis, my thoughts, my takeaways. And that article pretty much has the entire story of that project, not just from what we're getting,
Yes.
but like Josh Tomorrow is becoming CEO of the Walt Disney Company because of what he did when Bob Iger came back. He
Mhm.
took Bob Iger a 250-page binder, and Bob Iger said, "Oh, we need to do this, this, and this." And now Josh is succeeding him because of him taking him that binder. Like there are so many full circle crazy stories that 99.9% of Disney fans will never know. And I'm like, if I'm going to write this article about Tropical Americas, I'm going back to late 2022. Like I'm going all the way back. So that article, one of the best pieces of content I've ever created. And I have a lot of Substack stuff in the works. Those take a lot of time, but I like how it's going so far. So more to come there.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was a great
very-
read.
Thank you.
And you went back even further than 2022. You went back to Bruce Vaughn's start. So
That's true.
his
Yeah.
full circle moment and everything. So
Yeah,
mhm.
and Bruce Vaughn also worked on Animal Kingdom with Joan Hartwick and Joe Grody as well, and now he's overseeing this. So just
Mhm.
saying, it's a good recipe.
It is.
Your article talks about hope, and it gave me hope. It got me like energized and excited for this. So listeners, definitely go read it because you will be excited about this for sure.
Yeah, that's last thing I'll say. I promise. I promise. That the name of this land is Pueblo Esperanza, which stands for the Village of Hope. Like you said, Kaity, this project literally represents hope for a next chapter for Walt Disney World. And if that isn't Disney magic and storytelling, I don't know what is.
It's true.
You're right. Summed up right there in the name. Well, thank you for this update, Drew. We are going to catch back up with you in just a few minutes, so we'll see you in a minute. Okay, now back to construction. Let's go back to Animation Courtyard, like we said we would talk about later. Imagineering has filed 4 new permits at the Animation Courtyard in Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is being reimagined as Walt Disney Studios, inspired by the real Burbank lot. The permit covers electrical work, set installation, and signage for both the courtyard entrance and the Magic of Disney Animation building. One of the filings specifically calls for the fabrication and installation of a new Walt Disney Studios marquee sign at the courtyard entrance.
Just a lot happening in that little area, so I'm ready for it.
They're moving quick on that too.
Yes.
They only announced this last summer, and to have it all, completely turned out and done in a year, good for them.
They have to. You can only spend now 4 minutes in Hollywood Studios before you're like, all right, I'm ready to go.
That's true.
So, yeah. Which makes entirely a lot of
4
sense why
minutes.
we're going to spend a lot more time in Hollywood Studios right now, because I want to talk about Muppets Coaster. So work is underway on the iconic upside down car displayed at the entrance of Rock and Roller Coaster as the ride is reimagined as Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets.
Woo-hoo.
The attraction closed on March 2nd, 2026, after massive crowds lined up for a final ride before the retheme, with wait times reportedly stretching for hours. Since then, crews have begun repainting the display vehicle, adding bold red flames outlined with orange and filling them in bright red and yellow paint all over the limo's classic blue finish. Goodbye, Aerosmith. Very likely hinting at that refreshed look that's coming. I cannot wait. Get out of here, Steven Tyler.
This is going to be fun. I don't know who sent it in our group chat, but somebody sent us a picture that said there was a 1,350-minute wait for this on the last day.
That.
And that came from one of those fake news, like mousetrap news sites. So that is not true.
It probably was true.
I think it was consistently like
it
over
was
2 hours.
12:40.
Right. Not 13:50, 12:40. But yeah, so everyone was trying to get their last moments with Aerosmith, I guess.
Oh. Wait, I have to say, I was genuinely shocked by this turnout, because was this even more than people waiting for like Dinosaur?
Potentially.
It might have been, actually.
I feel like they're all getting this final day treatment of insanity.
Yes.
But it's crazy to me because it's not that much of a difference that's going to be happening. But I mean, whatever. If you loved Rock and Roller Coaster and that was your vibe and you are devastated Aerosmith's leaving, then I am sorry. But I cannot wait for the Muppet takeover.
Well, they did this for Country Bears too, and that was just a kind of re-theme.
That is true.
So,
that is true.
Yeah.
We're very nostalgic people as Disney adults and fans.
Just to get that one last experience. I get it.
We'll let it go. We'll let it slide.
Yeah. And construction continues on Monstropolis at Disney's Hollywood Studios, where Imagineering has filed a new permit for interior work inside the former Muppet Vision 3D theater. The filing lists Adirondack Studios as the contractor to install scenic set elements as the building is transformed into the Glob Theater, a new venue within the Monstropolis expansion. The permit signals that interior theming work is well underway, while scaffolding remains visible on the exterior.
I can't wait.
It's moving along.
It's
Give
coming.
me monsters. Give me monsters.
Yeah.
I can't wait for a show in there.
I'm so excited to see what that show is, because and y'all know how I feel about Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, and my fear is that was what was going in there, and I think we've pretty much confirmed that's not happening. Yeah. So I am excited to see what this will be.
They can't put that much effort into something like this that fans have been wanting for so long, and then just give us like a copy and paste of a show that's like moderately entertaining now.
Right.
I won't allow it.
It's
not that I have any say in this, but I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be different. I would love to see it very interactive. I would love to see, I don't know. We talk about it all the time. I don't know. I think it'd be cool if they had some sort of like AR built in or like something so that the monsters could be around you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Well,
Maybe an
this is
idea.
also a good moment to plug the Harryhausen's episode from season 4,
Ooh.
episode 8, where Katie dreamed up what Harryhausen's may look like in
Mhm.
Monstropolis. So
I could
go give
talk
that a
about
listen.
monsters all
Dine
day.
with the monsters.
Mhm.
Yes.
Dine with the freaks. And I'm not
Oh.
talking about us.
Oh,
Well, well, finally, jumping over to Disneyland. We love you guys over there too. We're not forgetting about you. But there's not a ton of news coming from the West Coast. But as Disneyland Forward begins to take shape, a portion of the Hollywood backlot at California Adventure will eventually be transformed into the new version of Pandora World of Avatar. Now, originally, Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue was set to close in early 2026 to make way for the new land, but they just recently announced that it will remain open into 2027 to continue serving younger families with limited ride options at the park. So that closure delay, it doesn't appear to be affecting the Pandora project. They really haven't shared an official opening date on that by any means. It's very early stages. But yeah, and it's also supposed to be a different version of Pandora than we have in here in I say here, but in Walt Disney World. So this area is supposed to be more inspired by Avatar: Way of Water and the upcoming films in the franchise. So completely different experience than Animal Kingdom.
I like when they reuse ideas, but do them very differently in different
Yes.
parks. I love that
Yes,
to see different like
Mhm.
takes on it. So
right. That's how I feel about Cars and
Mhm.
Piston Peak coming. Like where you can go see the real Cars,
Yeah.
like straight out of the movie, and now we can see like an extension and expansion of that universe in Magic Kingdom soon. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for this. It's I think a lot of people were kind of confused about this decision, but I'm optimistic that that section of the park right now is there's really not a lot going on. They've taken out a lot of the main attractions there. They've got PhilharMagic in there, which used to be Muppet Vision, and it's not. PhilharMagic isn't the same in that theater. It wasn't really designed for that type of show, and there's no show right now at the Hyperion, and so I think some change is due for the Hollywood backlot.
Yep.
All right. And that wraps up the biggest construction stories happening across the parks right now. Lands are rising, buildings are disappearing, entire areas are transforming. It's a lot to keep track of right now.
Meanwhile, there are plenty of whispers swirling behind the scenes, keeping everyone on their toes. So let's dive into those rumors this quarter.
And before we jump in, just a quick note. These are unconfirmed reports. This is industry chatter, speculative hints. None of this is officially announced by Disney, so treat this as just some guesswork that we're doing and have heard.
Yes. And we've got Drew the Disney Dude back with us. And Drew, feel free to jump in with your thoughts after each one and let us know if there's anything we missed. So Jenny, why don't you kick us off with number one?
All right, so what is going on with Villains Land? Well, recent chatter has sparked two rumors. First, claims that new CEO Josh D'Amaro ordered Imagineers to make the land bigger and bolder are likely false, or the timeline of when this was said is off. We're under the impression that plans have not been shaken up since the 2024 announcement. Now, second, there are reports that Villain Land may be shifting to a more family-friendly focus. The rumored changes include the original Maleficent coaster being rethemed to the Emperor's New Groove, a possible Ursula spinner ride, and a Hades-themed dinner show. Now, nothing is confirmed yet, and the project remains in the permitting phase. New details may be shared in the coming weeks with an expected arrival around 2030.
And we started laughing at the beginning of this because when we told Drew we had some rumors, he was like, I feel like I know what it's going to be. And we didn't tell him, so I'm pretty sure that's confirmed.
I knew what the next chapter was going to be before I turned the page.
Yep. He's that good, folks.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it.
No.
If anyone's wondering why I have not acknowledged these rumors on my social medias, I've had people ask me, like, are you going to cover this? I'm like, nope, I will not be acknowledging it. I mean, I guess I'm acknowledging it right now.
Yeah, you kind of are in a way.
Yeah.
But we prompted that.
That's
Yeah.
totally fair. And I'll start by saying that I never like to no pun intended, villainize rumors because I love rumors.
It's a good word.
Sure.
I think that rumors are a great way to cause excitement and chatter and talk about the parks. And the more that, again, people don't like to acknowledge this, but the more people are talking about Disney, the better. Like Disney's got to make that money. The more that is around and floating around, um, I don't want to come across as like, oh, I hate this. I can't believe someone said this.
Right.
I'm better than everyone else. I don't want to come across that way. Like I truly have not heard anything about Villains Land until late last year, and even then, I don't even know how concurrent that stuff was. So,
Sure.
but I'll explain why I don't think that these rumors are accurate. And you guys kind of hinted at it. I think that it comes back to, I think that this bigger, bolder thing was probably after D23 in 2022 when, again, Chris Beatty was on stage. I love Chris Beatty. Chris, if you're for some reason listening to this, we got you, Chris.
Chris.
When I found out Chris watched my We Call It Imagineering episode about him, I was like, oh, you watched the video about you? Cool. Not to go off topic, but yeah, like Chris Beatty was on stage, Josh Damar was on stage, and at the time, Jennifer Lee was the head of Disney Animation. And afterwards, Entertainment Weekly, Joey Nolfi did an interview with Josh and Chris and basically said we took note of the reaction we got at D23, and that was an even smaller D23 at the time before they moved to the Honda Center. That reaction, the applause was so big that Josh couldn't even talk. Like he tried to talk multiple times, but people were standing up, standing ovation. I think at that point they were like, well, we don't need to do this in 15 years. We need to do this now. And also the fact that Universal, a few miles away is building Darkmoor, which is killer. Like Darkmoor, unfortunately, suffered heavy budget cuts, like to the actual village itself. And that's why it's kind of like you just walk in and like Curse of the Werewolf's there, and then Monsters Unchained stands out because Monsters Unchained didn't get budget cut, actually got more money. But that's a whole other story. But again, Darkmoor, I love Darkmoor. It's just not a fully complete land, but Darkmoor serves its purpose in the sense that Universal took a risk, and I will forever respect them for that. Like Universal, like the general fan thinks about like Nintendo and Minions and Fast and Furious, like all their main franchises, not classic monsters. So it was a big risk, and I love that. But that's what I think got Villains Land greenlit and announced so quickly, not 10 years from now. I just don't buy it. Like, again, it's not a shot at Drew Taylor or anyone. I was just like, no. I feel like you guys know like what a gut feeling and intuition is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when you read, like when I was just reading Ben Fritz's article about the future of Pixar, like everything lined up. I'm like, cool, Monsters Inc. 3. Like I not 1 ounce of me was doubting that news. Not 1 ounce of me was doubting anything in his article. But for some reason, when I'm reading that article about Villains Land, I'm like, an Ursula spinner? That's not featured architecture. Like they just talked about going to Spain and Barcelona, Spain, and like France to get all this incredible insight to the architecture and how practical and twisted and bold it's going to be. And Ursula spinner cheapens the entire land with the same mistake the Universal just made with Curse of the Werewolf. Like that's not like I'm all for having a family-friendly attraction in Villains Land that kids can go on, but make it fit into the land. And I'll give a shout out to Jack at DSMI Newscast. He had a fantastic idea. If you're going to do the Maleficent coaster, which I still hope is the plan, just have a miniature version of that coaster going through the thorns. Then kids can go through the same theming as the adults.
Yeah.
I was like, Jack, that's a brilliant. I can't take credit for it, but you have to lean into the darkness of these villains. Like, and everyone's like, well, it's Magic Kingdom. Like, kids can't be scared. I'm like, well, then send them to Piston Peak 5 feet away. Like,
right.
Am I crazy for saying that kids might not have to go to Villains Land? Like, is the rest of the park not already for them?
Right.
Can we not have something that is a big risk for Disney for once?
We would like
Can
that.
I not physically feel scared for the first time in my life in a Disney park?
Yes.
I want
Let's
that.
get terrified. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and like, again, I even something that James, again, I'm giving a lot of shout outs here, but I do take in a lot of content, which I try to keep an open mind with everything, because if I have a closed mind, well, that's strike three. I immediately, you should not listen to what I say. But James, a guide to WDW, he was talking about how kind of what the report said, how if they want to go more family friendly, well, that would kind of be more like How to Train Your Dragon at Epic Universe. And that's my favorite land for that. That's one of my top 3 lands ever.
Mine too.
Same. Yeah.
Mine too.
Isle of Berk is Isle of Berk. If we're talking about like Tropical Americas and wanting to spend time in a place, Isle of Berk is that in Orlando right now for me.
Agreed.
I would buy an annual pass to Epic Universe just to go to Isle of Berk and go on Monsters Unchained. So I do love Universal, but I don't see a problem with making it more of like an open environment where anyone can walk through it. But like, I want to feel something visceral, seeing Maleficent or in a dragon form, or seeing a giant Chernobog or a snake as Jafar, or like whatever these characters that end up, like I want that emotion and that power. And these villains are big and menacing. Like, I want them to be brought to life on these big scales. If you're going to talk about turbocharging a park and then put an Ursula spinner in Villains Land, I will literally
Yeah.
like, what? Like, no,
Yeah.
I just pray that this is not happening. And also, another thing too, even if this is one of the plans, what if it's not the plan that gets greenlit, right?
Sure.
Everyone's forgetting that Thomas Maslam's coming in. Well, I guess this just happened, but Thomas Maslam is now coming into the chairman role on March 18th. So if Thomas doesn't like the plan, he now has full say in not signing off on that paperwork. If
Sure.
Thomas doesn't like a plan, that plan's dead. So I have a theory that there's been multiple shifts. Even with Tropical Americas, there was multiple plans in development, and then they finally arrive on one. I think Villains Land has hundreds of pieces of concept art, hundreds of different styles, variants, versions, and this one plan, while it might be legitimate internally, there's no guarantee that is the final plan. It might have just been one of these things that slipped out, or maybe it's Walt Disney Imagineering putting a fake leak out to try to fire people who are spoiling things, right? They
Sure.
could be internally setting up to cut people that they don't want in there before all these big things happen. Because if leaks get out before D23, well, then that's a horrible look for your new leadership team that is supposed to be setting up this company for success. So,
Right.
long story short, I'll stop talking. I hope it's not true.
Well,
But I would like an Emperor's New Groove coaster, so I'm not going to say no to that.
She's okay with it.
She's okay with
I
some
think-
of these rumors.
I think that's
Yeah.
far-fetched,
I'll
but
take that. It's probably not going to happen, but I'll take it.
I think the best thing that you could do with the Emperor's New Groove, pull the lever Kronk moment, is to make it part of a bigger coaster. Like, in my
Yeah.
opinion, the
Yeah.
perfect villains coaster would be you're kind of like running away from these villains. Like, I don't know what would be making you run away, but as you're kind of encountering them, like maybe like the storyline of this land is that they've all come together under a mysterious spell. So maybe the storyline of the coaster, again, this is literally just me talking off the top of my head, is that when you're on the coaster, they've just arrived at the land and they don't know why we're there yet. So they're kind of not liking that we're there, and then we're trying to get away from them. So I guess I don't know if a pull the lever Kronk moment would fit that, but I just think having that moment as a part of the coaster, heck yeah. But I don't know if theming it. I just feel like Magic Kingdom, everything has to be pretty general, because that is, I feel like when a lot of people think about Magic Kingdom, that's Walt Disney World to them. It's the most general audience trying to have the widest variety of offerings. And I know the Emperor's New Groove has a cult following now. I love the characters. I think it's funny. The storyline about how they just pulled that movie together so last minute and now it has that following, I think is amazing. I just don't know if making an entire coaster in your project that's supposed to exceed Epic Universe and Tokyo Disney Sea is that. Now, would we love it as the diehards? Sure. I can't say, I'm not going to lie and say, oh yeah, I would hate that. Like, no, it'd be fun. Like, sure. I just think it from a 3-time return on investment standpoint, I don't think that's going to solve that problem.
Probably not, but
Yeah.
maybe we could get a bakery and they can sell some poison candies or
Yeah,
treats.
that
and
would be
things.
cool.
That,
That would
would be
be
the
Oh,
extent.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe that is the plan, and I'm going to look back on this like, you absolute fool.
We're like, and roll the tape when Drew the Disney Dude said,
Can we delete that video, please?
"Be forever."
Well, on to our next one. Is Shanghai Disney Resort getting a second park?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Say no more. Say no more. We talked about this on our last State of the Kingdom, and we wanted to bring it up again. I saw some recent reports that there is an internal code name for this project called Project Atlas, and they
Interesting.
haven't confirmed anything. But I know it's the 10th anniversary this year, so I'm curious.
Yeah, I think this is happening. Again, I will say I'm not like an insider. Like sometimes I get info on things, but I just don't talk about it because it's not I'm not gonna, that'd be like stabbing a knife into an Imagineer's back when I'm claiming I love them. Like I'm not gonna do that. If I was 18 years old, maybe. Now that I'm almost 24, no way. You couldn't pay me to do that. But yeah, I think that this is inevitable. And honestly, I think Disney's kind of tipped the hat here. When they're announcing a 4th hotel coming to Shanghai Disney Resort,
You're right.
Yeah,
like,
there's a reason.
It's a
Come on.
clue. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it's like,
Mhm.
here is an expanded soaring over the horizon. Here is a Marvel expansion. Here's a 4th hotel. I wonder what else could be a part of that puzzle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's got to be the second park. Now, I don't know if this announcement's going to come at D23 because D23 is much more a domestic. I know, like,
Agreed.
I actually love when they introduce the domestic parks at D23 because I think it can open people's eyes to the beauty of these places. Like, If someone gave me $10,000 right now and said, "Where are you going?" I would go to Hong Kong Disneyland. I would not go to Tokyo. Some people say, "You don't want to go to Tokyo." It's not that I don't want to go to Tokyo. It's that Hong Kong Disneyland is the most naturally beautiful Disney park, and it's quiet. If I'm going overseas, I want to experience something that I can actually enjoy, not waking up at 5 a.m. to sit outside of Tokyo Disney Sea. That doesn't sound enjoyable to me, you know? But back on the topic of Shanghai, I just don't know when it's going to be announced because, again, like I said, D23 is more domestic, but they do talk about international things there sometimes. It could be there, or it could be that Shanghai announces it themselves on the actual 10th anniversary date. I think that would be the best thing to do. Just do like a mini update thing and just like share like on-site photos of Spider-Man. Maybe share concept art for the kind of like what Disneyland Paris just did for their 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't think it was 30th happened a while ago, but Disneyland Paris just celebrated their anniversary. How was that almost? Whoa, that was a year ago. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa! I said it just shared. Okay, I lied. That was almost a year ago. But yeah, like when they shared like that indoor scene for the Lion King and like the up spinner, you know, like those things. I would say Shanghai do that, but announce your second park. I think that'd be awesome. And then just talk about everything else at D23 that year. Your people in Partisan are probably going to connect with more. But yeah, this has got to be happening. Like, there's no way it doesn't.
Yep, I think you're right. And you just set up a perfect trailer for our episode next week, which is my recap of my visit to Hong Kong Disneyland, where I spoke specifically about how the feeling of it's not about the size of it, it's about the coziness and the charm of it. And
I want to go.
I
will
wish you to go there. Yeah. All right, we got one more. This one's really loose.
Yes. We're keeping it international.
You're
though.
throwing me a curveball?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's see if I can hit it.
All right. Is Disney Abu Dhabi getting possibly delayed or even shelved? One rumor making the rounds right now is Disney's planned theme park resort in Abu Dhabi. Recent reporting that Gulf states may be reassessing some international investments amid escalating tensions involving Iran has led some industry watchers to question whether mega projects like the proposed Disney development could face delays or additional scrutiny. That said, there has been no official indication from Disney or its partners that the project is being reconsidered. And for now, the speculation appears to be more driven by geopolitical uncertainty rather than anything happening with the project itself. So
Yes,
what are
and
we
I will
thinking?
say I appreciate you guys leading all these with like it's not confirmed. Like
Yes.
I always I always dislike when people
Mhm.
will talk about a rumor and they'll put like a rumor in like the smallest text or like they'll like intentionally lead you into thinking that it's happening. Cough, cough inside the magic. Sorry. Did I just? Oh wow.
What you? What,
did I
we've
just- did I
discussed
say-
them before
Yeah.
on the show.
We have. We have.
Yeah, but it's thank you guys for being transparent because I always like to be transparent.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't think this project's going to get canceled. I think, like you said, the best thing that they could probably do here is just maybe take things slower right now, right?
Sure.
Because this is a very serious real world issue, regardless of where you sit on the political table. I don't like to talk about politics, but when when something's this big of a scale, you can't ignore that, right?
Yeah,
and something too is that if you guys aren't familiar, this is something that is pretty big and kind of could give some insight as to how things could influence Disney's thoughts, maybe, or Morale's thoughts, the company partnering with Disney, is that IAPA Expo, they were just about to do their first ever IAPA in the Middle East. And they just pushed it back to April of 2027. That was supposed to happen later this month. IAPA is massive, the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. Every single year here in Orlando, there's 40,000 people, from arcades to theme parks to water parks, bouncy houses, food, beverage, merchandise. Like, it is the D23 Expo of theme parks. And I go every year just to kind of soak it in. And I love IAPA so much. And I honestly do have a lot of respect for them pushing it back, just because if you're going to do something that big in the Middle East and kind of kickstarting this next chapter, introducing this themed entertainment and attractions to a new audience, I actually love that. I think the more themed entertainment there is in the world, the better. But you can't ignore what's happening in the world,
Right.
And sure, like I don't think, thankfully, there's been any like big casualties in Abu Dhabi. I can't really speak on that specifically because I haven't been following it. I try to disconnect from this stuff just because it drains me of my energy. Like it's sad, it's depressing. I don't like seeing war.
Sure,
Regardless,
that's why we have this podcast.
Yeah.
We
Exactly.
can totally relate.
yeah, and it's like I don't try to be naive to what's happening. Like I try to be aware of what's happening in the world, but at the same time, if I feel like every time I turn on the news, it's just something sad. It's like I don't want to spend my time. I don't want to spend my time on this planet thinking about sad stories and like we live on this beautiful planet, and like the way that everything is set up, like working a 9 to 5 or in money, it's like it shouldn't be how we're living, you know?
Yeah.
Um, it's such a complicated thing, but I do think that this project will happen simply because Disney's not funding it. And another thing with this project too, that again, it's not none of my business. I'm not trying to influence your guys' thoughts. I just like to put things out there, and then you can take away whatever you want to take away out of it. But at least for me, I think one of the good things about this project is that it's creating more talent at Imagineering here in the United States. So
Mm.
Morale, the company overseas, is funding all of that hiring that will then lead to these Imagineers being brought on. And then they're paying essentially for these Imagineers to learn. So that
That's a very
5
good
years from
point.
now,
Mhm.
they can then work on the domestic parks. So like that's something that I think could be a very positive takeaway for Disneyland and Walt Disney World, because what better way to talk about learning expertise and wisdom and knowledge, which has been a big talking point. You know, there's been so much concern around Disney with losing this talent that we kind of lost when there was going to be that move to Florida, and then Chapek pulled out of it, and these people didn't come back because they stepped into new jobs, and like we lost a lot of those veterans like Joe Rody and Kevin Rafferty. And everyone's like, well, are the new Imagineers going to be able to deliver on the $60 billion investment? I think having hundreds of people hired by Morale and then having them work on arguably the greatest theme park ever, because you probably have like a $15 billion budget.
Sure.
Right.
Well, then they can take everything they've just learned and implement that at Walt Disney World for maybe a brand new Lion King area, Disney Animal Kingdom in 2035. Like I'm thinking that far
Great
ahead.
point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I go back and forth on it. You know, I'm a very open-minded person. That's why a lot of my content is so positive, is because, like, for example, yeah, I was literally crying on the Liberty Bell on my last ride back in July.
Oh.
But at the same time, whenever I'm at the parks, I always see kids wearing Lightning McQueen merchandise. Or if I'm at
Yeah.
Art of Animation, they're running up to Lightning McQueen and Mater just at a hotel to see those characters.
Mhm.
So I'm
Mhm.
taking myself out of the picture. Yes, do I love that the Rivers of America was an escape from Magic Kingdom and that it felt like you weren't in an Orlando theme park? Sure. But from a business perspective, putting cars in Magic Kingdom makes perfect sense. So a lot of
Yeah.
my thoughts with Abu Dhabi is just, yeah, it's going to be the best theme park on the planet. And that long term is probably the best thing that could happen to Walt Disney Imagineering. So I think it'll happen. I just think that when Disney isn't funding anything here, they're really just kind of keeping that hospitality and the Disney branding and what you can expect from a Disney experience, basically giving them the rights to create the best attractions we've ever seen on the planet. I can't say no to that. But yeah, there's got to be some conversations happening behind the scenes right now, and I'm sure that that's probably going to be one of the first things that Josh Tomorrow and Dana Walden and Maslam and Bruce Vaughn look at is, do we continue to just work behind the scenes and not say anything and just announce it down the road? Maybe the park doesn't get delayed and the announcements are delayed. That could be a possibility too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's also so early with everything going on. It's very hard to
Yep.
tell what's going to happen soon.
Mhm.
So
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right. There are conversations happening behind the scenes, but I'm sure it'll be a while before we hear anything official, if there is.
Agreed. Yeah,
Mm.
and I
Yeah.
think that'll just be pushed back too. Because another thing too is, speaking about IAPA, I feel like the best place to ever even share things about Disneyland Abu Dhabi is through IAPA, not Disney.
Right.
Because if IAPA is moving into the Middle East, well then just let that team share the details to that audience who's going to be going to that park.
Right.
Realistically, I don't think a ton of people visiting Disneyland and Walt Disney World are going to be going to Disneyland Abu Dhabi. They're just going to be commenting about it or following it. But I
Mhm.
think that if you're going to reveal something, do it in the Middle East itself. Talk to the people that are going to be
Mhm.
spending money to go to this place
Right.
that already live there. Like that's
Mhm.
Disney's talked so much about how this park's within like 4 hours of a massive
Right.
section of the world's population. Promote it to them. We already have Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool for me as a content creator. It's another thing for me to talk about. But realistically, if Walt Disney World's my home, that's never going to change.
Yeah.
Right. Well, are there any other rumors that you've been hearing that you want to share, or do you think we've covered?
Trying to think. It's been pretty quiet
Yeah.
recently. I feel
It
like
has.
Mhm.
Yeah.
a lot of the focus is kind of just like on the leadership team, like getting
Mhm.
settled in the right
Mhm.
way.
Yep.
There's even like a lot of change happening behind the scenes at much lower levels, but is having positive impacts. Like people's names that you would never know, but like they're really cool and they have an impact on the stuff that you take in. So yeah, I just feel like it's going to take a few months to kind of get things into the swing of this leadership team.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I feel like my biggest takeaways weren't necessarily rumors. It was just kind of actually hearing from Thomas Maslam at Disneyland and how
Mhm.
highly he was talking about the Adventures Campus expansion and their cast member training and the ride reliability initiative, guest feedback, reading every single letter sent in, trying to do right by the guest. Like, yeah, it was a lot of talk, but they did back it up with a lot of good points too. So I think if his leadership translates to Walt Disney World and cruise line, which he led at one point. That could be a really good thing for Disney experiences. But it's been pretty quiet. But yeah, I guess the shareholders meeting will give us some more stuff to follow. So I'm excited for that.
Well, that wraps up the biggest Disney news and rumors we have been following this quarter. A huge thank you to Drew the Disney Dude for joining us today to share your thoughts. We really appreciate you taking the time to jump in with us. Before we let you go, I want you to
Yes.
be able to share with all of our listeners about your content and where they can all connect with you.
Yeah, honestly, speaking of the word initiative, my main goal this year is kind of to be everywhere. Like, I do everything myself. So every single piece of content you're ever seeing from me, the editing, the filming, the idea, whatever it is, it's by me. I don't have a team by any means. So it's a lot, but there's a lot happening. So I'm trying to kind of play catch up with how much investment Disney's putting into their stuff. So for a while, and you guys even told me pre-show that you guys found me through just my coverage of Tiana's Bayou Adventure on Twitter.
Yep.
And a lot of people know me still for Twitter, which I still make Twitter a priority because I love that like in the moment quick update to where you can just take it in and move on with your day very quickly. I'm not going to stop posting on Twitter by any means, but I'm putting a lot more time into like the short form videos, like on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, Facebook, all that, like the graphic style posts on Instagram, like those like carousel style posts. Substack's obviously a big one for me now too. So you can pretty much find me anywhere, like all the major platforms, Substack. And something that I'm just about to launch is like a trip planning. Like you guys, like if someone really wanted to pay me to help them guide them through their trip, well, drewthedisneydude.com is where you could find that. So I know there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but my dad and I have been working on it behind the scenes. Like he drives Uber on the side and he's done thousands of rides just talking to people. And they constantly say like, we need help with our trip and Disney's not doing that for us. So figured, well,
Yeah.
why not me? You know,
Yeah.
so much of my mental capacity is taken by thinking about Disney, which again, I'm very blessed to be able to think about Disney Swap. And it's very much a first world problem. You know, there's a lot of sad things happening on our planet right now. I wish things weren't that way, but I do think that people need Disney as an escape more than ever. So yeah, it's a paid service. I got to make money somehow. I'll be very transparent with that, but I can literally help you with your trip and try to offer the best expertise and wisdom and knowledge possible. So every social media platform, Substack, drewthedisneydude.com. I'm everywhere, but again, very blessed to be everywhere. And I truly, truly appreciate you guys allowing me to talk about these things because yes, you can watch my content, but I love these conversations so much because it's just chill, laid back, open. You guys could have asked me anything and I can answer it within a few minutes. And I think there's a lot of power in just communicating, right? Like at the end of the day, the human connection is just talking to each other. And I don't think we've even fully rebounded on that since everyone was wearing their masks with COVID, which I get we had to. But if we could just be more friendly to each other, talk to each other, and be more open-minded, I think our planet would be in a lot better of a spot. But again, I could rant about that for hours, but I'll leave it at that. If you want to follow me, I'd appreciate it. And we'll have a lot of fun things to talk about from the new leadership, shareholders, summer, D23, and so on and beyond.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Thank you guys.
These State of the Kingdom episodes are really turning out to be some of my favorites to record. It always gets me so excited to see how Disney is moving full steam ahead.
I completely agree. And for everyone listening, we loved breaking down everything happening across the parks, from construction updates to the latest rumors.
And we will keep our State of the Union segments coming each quarter, so there's plenty more Disney news to stay tuned for. And next week, we are not back with an original project quite yet. We have a recap of Amanda and my visit to the Chinese parks. We have 3 parks to cover for you there. Yes, 3 parks in China that we visited that we want to share with you. So be sure to tune in for that.
Well, thank you so much for listening. And as always, if you can dream it,
You can make a podcast about it.
Bye.
Also, imagine having your vacation planned by Drew the Disney Dude.
I know.
I'm
hope it would
local,
be
and
good.
I feel like now I just want you to plan my regular day at the park.
Yeah, so I'm going to have you go over to the Monsters Inc. Construction Wall.
You're
And
doing
then
a
go check
construction
out-
tour.
And then
Yes.
go check out the paint on the guitar rock and roller. No.
Okay.
That would be like, I want a refund.
No, not to
No.
this group.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the
I would
tour we
love
want.
that kind of trip.
But
Yeah.
no, it would be like,
Mhm.
did you know that you can just take a bus from Disney Springs to Contemporary and watch Happily Ever After for free because that transportation is free from Disney Springs. Like those little tips
Mhm.
that aren't necessarily on paper, but if I
Yeah.
can talk to someone on the phone for a couple hours and truly guide them through their thought process, and also something too is like the clientele of Walt Disney World is so wide. Like some people are celebrating a wedding, some people are celebrating a
Mhm.
birthday. Someone probably went to Walt Disney World today celebrating their family member beating cancer. Like, why are you here? How
Yeah.
can I craft your experience in the best way
Yeah.
possible? And I can't do that in the parks. It's all,
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to step on what Disney does officially, but I can do it from home. Nothing stopped me from doing that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I love that.